Be sure to check out my store for the stuff I use and templates at a low cost, and get my everything pack so you can have everything in my store at a reduced cost, less than $20 if you tweet it out. What's up guys, Qehzy here bringing you guys another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a header or a banner like this. I don't know what to call this style yet. I guess like a flame header style, I guess. I don't know. I've been getting like a lot of requests on this, more so than like any other tutorial. I think like my last couple videos people have commented on it, and people have commented on the comments about it. I've gotten a bunch of DMs and stuff, so I thought I'd do it. The person that made this sort of style really popular was Smokey. I'll link his Twitter in the description so you guys can check out his work. I don't think he has any of this stuff posted on his Twitter actually. But he like made stuff for Dare and whatnot. It got really big. People loved it. And he actually painted those things like in Photoshop. This is like a simple way, the way I figured out how to do it. I think it still looks pretty cool, but yeah guys, let's get right into it. Enough with the preamble or whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide all this. I'm going to just create a default black here. And this is where we're going to start. So the first thing you need is some sort of logo. I'm going to be using my buddy Nally's logo, or Nally. I actually have no idea how to say his name if I'm being honest. Here we go. But his Twitter will be on the screen right now. You guys should go check him out, follow him. But his logo works really well with this effect, I think. So we're just going to drag that in here, rasterize it, make it white by Control-I to inverse it. And then we're just going to position it however we want. So like that's a good size for me. And then we're going to double click on it. And you're going to have to play with the styles, but I already have a style pre-made. And it's this right here. So what you're going to be using is a bevel and emboss, inner bevel, chisel hard, depth 188. I'll put all these settings on the screen, by the way, like in larger and whatnot, and in the description. Once you do that, you want to click OK. And you can rasterize that, right click and rasterize it if you want. I'm not for now, but if you want to tilt it, say I wanted to do that, you can see it screws it up and it looks really weird, so you're going to have to rasterize it if you want some tilt. But we're going to duplicate this layer, select the bottom one, and make it big. Like that. And then we're going to have to double click on it, go to the bevel and emboss, and, oh, that's the wrong one. And bring up the size, just so it sort of looks like what we had before. And then we just want to bring down the opacity to like 10 or so, something like that. And then the color correction I used is my own personal one, and I'm actually just going to duplicate it from here and drag it up. This color correction is nothing special. I don't sell it or anything, so the download will be in the description if you want to use it. And I unchecked the second hue and saturation and the first gradient map from the top, and then the whole folder's on a 65% opacity, and that's just kind of how it looks better that way, if you know what I mean. Alright, the next thing you want to do is create a new layer above the logo, and we're going to zoom in here, and we're going to get the pen tool, and we're just going to create little cuts and divots in the logo itself. So how I did that, there's probably plenty, like tons of ways to do this, but I just went to the middle part and created sort of a diamond, and you can round them if you want. Press Alt and click on the point to make it not round anymore, if you know what I mean. So it goes to a point, and just do something like this. So you create some sort of diamond like this, and it looks like a cut if we were to fill it in. And you can make different size variations. I did 2 size variations on this guy. You can see there's that one, and then there's the one that's a little thicker. And you just want to create that new layer, make sure you have that new layer created. Right click, fill path, black, OK, right click, delete path. And you can see you get a little bit of a cut in there, and then there's a few options you can do. First of all, you'd have to duplicate them and put them throughout. And if you create more variations, it'll look a lot better. Since I only have one, it's just going to look alright, I guess. Let me just put a few in a few places. Something like that. That works. And then once you do that, duplicate them all, put them where you want. You want to merge them all together. Right click on the layer. And there's a few options you can do. You can do a colored one, or you can do a dark one. So you can do a color overlay, normal, 100% opacity. You could do a gray, which kind of blends in, or you could do like a red color. I'm going to do a gray because I think it looks a little better. And then we want to go to inner glow and then pick the color that you're going to be working with. So I guess we'll just do green, and we're going to decrease the size. There we go, to about 3. And then we want to get another effect, and we want to do an outer glow, and we again want to do a green. And then we want to bump up the size of that outer glow just a bit, and the opacity doesn't have to be that much, so like 35, that works. I'm actually going to increase this inner glow by just another one like that. There we go. So now you get a pretty cool glow effect that looks pretty nice. And then the next step we want to do is go to the background and create some sort of texture going throughout the whole thing. So I'm going to use a pattern I have, and I honestly have no idea where I found this pattern. I remember I found it off of some site when I was looking for other things. If I remember, I'll put it in the description. If I don't remember, be sure to comment down below. But it looks like this. It's sort of like a camo with just different shapes in it. But it's a really sweet little texture. And I'm just going to get that in the patterns and decrease the opacity. We'll go like 5. We don't want it to be too much, just ever so slightly, like a little effect going on. And then we want to add a little bit of texture to this logo. It's a little too sleek. We want it like a little more rough, a little more like rocky of a look, I guess. Not really, like grungy, I guess. So I have this texture already here. I'm just going to duplicate it and bring it to the top. And this is what it looks like. It's a very subtle grunge texture. I'll link it in the description below so you can download. I'll actually put just everything together that you guys need for this in the description below. And then we just want to put it over. And you notice if we clipping mask it with all the effects, it won't even show up. So what I did is press Command and click on the little thumbnail here for the logo. And that's not the logo layer. This is the logo layer. And we want to go to Select Inverse and then press Delete. And there you go. And then you just want to set that layer to Overlay. And I'm going to bring that down below the little glowy bits and bring down the opacity. So somewhere in the teens should be good. So yeah, that looks good. What is that, 15? There we go. Nice little effect. This looks pretty nice right now. Pretty basic though. We want to add some of those flares that I know you guys really want to see. So what we're going to do is go to the very top layer below the CC and create a new layer. And we want to go to our brushes. And again, I'll have these brushes up for download in the description. I don't know who created them. I downloaded them for free. But the credit will be in the description to the guy that created these. And you can see here they are. There's a bunch of different variations. I also have some lightning bolts that you could use too, but I don't think they look as good. But this section is what we're going to be using. And since I'm in the Twitter header, which is quite big, I'm going to be using the biggest size. So the 2048 pixel size. I'm going to select that and then go up here and just rotate it just a bit. And we want to make sure we have white on. And we want to go, and you can really do this anywhere. So I'm just going to do one there. And then maybe just a tad in the corner. And then let's get another one. And I try to do the ones that are just lines, not with like the fog, I guess, around it, like the little bits of light around it. I like to keep it just the line part of it, if you know what I mean. And let's go ahead and do another one. Maybe even go that way, so it's a little bit of a different angle. Actually, let's do this one a little more straight. Actually, let's just do it straight. You want some variety. You don't want them all going the same angle, I guess. Let me try it. Actually, I want to rotate this 180. Let's do that. That's a lot better. I like that. And then maybe a little bit in the corner. And then let's get one more in the other corner. And we're going to erase little bits of these. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. So maybe just a tad right there. All right. And now we want to go to Filter, Distort, and Wave. Now I always mess up these settings, but the key is to have a higher wavelength, and then the amplitude can be sort of high. I don't know if these were the settings I used last time, but let's click OK. Yeah, that works. So let me go to those settings real quick. So I don't think I changed anything. I just bumped up the wavelength to 120, the amplitude's at 35, and it's obviously a sine type. You could probably play around, do triangle or square to get different looks, but this is fine. You can see it's sort of like, it still looks like electric, flamey, I guess, but it's not like a lightning bolt type look, which is nice, which we don't want. Then I'm gonna get the eraser, and we're just gonna take out a little bit. So I'm gonna do like a little bit of that corner, and just take a little bit away from here. Do something like that. That works. I like that. I don't like them when they go fully across. I like them in little bits, and I like them touching the logo a little bit. It looks, I think, pretty nice. I should have probably left a little more here. Let me do that real quick. All right, let's try this again. Maybe just like that little bit. There we go. I like that. And then let's duplicate that layer, and then select the bottom one and go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And this is at a radius of 27. That's a little too much. We want to do like 15, 16, somewhere in that range. Click OK, and it will just, you can see how it does that. It kind of creates that light effect that I said I didn't want in the brush, if you remember that. So we want to create it ourselves. So you can see this is pretty boring right now, but if we create a new layer, go to the brush and just get a normal soft brush, if the brushes want to load. Normal soft brush, make it a little smaller, and we want to select our color. So let's do that green we were using earlier, and let's actually bump it up. And then you just want to go over all the white bits like this. And we want to set that to screen and bring down the opacity. And there we go, there's that glow effect. And then I like to get the eraser tool and erase it from the middle bit of the logo. And I think that looks really nice, a lot better. And we want to go below the green effect. The green's probably like most likely going to be on the very top, unless you put like your like designed by so and so. That's like the only thing that would be on top that I can think of really. We want to create a new layer just below that, and we want to add a little bit of particles. So this is a brush from my brush pack. There's plenty of particle brushes out there. I'm sure you guys have tons of them. So I'm thinking it was this one. It was this guy. Let me bump up the size. I'm gonna go back to black and white, specifically white, and we're gonna get some particles in here. So maybe like that, and like that, and we'll do that too. And I'm just gonna erase some of these bigger bits a little tad bit, leave some of them. There we go. And if you want, you can go on those layers or that layer of particles and add the inner glow of the green. You're gonna have to bump up the opacity a little more, most likely. And it might not even be visible with the white depending on the color. Obviously you can see this is not very visible. But then you want to do the outer glow too and bump up the opacity. And that'll just make it look a little better. And then the final thing I did, which you guys, again, this is from one of my products in my store, my Insane Pack. It's just one little effect. I went into this and my custom fractals, and I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was towards the bottom actually. This one, number 3. I used this guy, brought him over. Resized him so he fit from top to bottom, like so. Alright, and then I set him to lighten. Command U, got the same color we were working in, so the green. Might have to come over here. There we are. Click OK, and then there's this little spot here, so I just erased like the thicker part. Actually, let me just bump it up so it looks a little better. There we go. Bring down the opacity a little bit, and actually I think I put this at the top a little more. Maybe one more. Was it above the green? Maybe it was above the green, so there goes that I said earlier. And you just want to put this across the whole thing like that. That just adds a little more particle effect, which I guess is sort of optional. You can see with and without. Looks pretty good either way. But yeah, guys, that's essentially the whole effect. You can then create a hue and saturation above this and really change the color to whatever you want. And you'll notice some colors might look a little duller, so like this orange, maybe that's a little dull. You can bump up the saturation a little bit, make it a little brighter, or just do that anyway. But yeah, guys, that is this style of header. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. At 100 likes, I'll just throw this PSD in the description below for you guys to download and use yourselves. Be sure to subscribe for more tutorials like this and plenty of other programs. Follow me on Twitter at Qehzy and add my Snapchat, which is Qehzy. You get updates there all the time, stuff I'm working on, all that good stuff. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you want any of the stuff in my store, it's in the description, and everything in this tutorial will be available for download in the description below, guys. But I'm going to stop talking. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace.